Hello, everyone, and welcome to the training recording for the step care model. Today, we are going to cover a variety of different things, but specifically, it is the usage and increasing confidence in the step care model tool that will be rolling out within your organizations for staff well-being support. A look at the agenda today. I will give you a brief background on the organizational health and well-being strategy. This is the why and how we have gotten here and what the next steps are. I will review the step care model tool. So if you have access to print that and have it available during this training, I recommend that. Otherwise, you will be able to access it from your partnership integration team member or from your wellness coordinator within your organization. We'll get into the programs and supports related to the step care model tool, the action planning document that accompanies this tool, as well as some case studies at the end of this recording where I will share a case study and challenge you to test your knowledge and newfound skills related to the step care model. So a little bit of background on the project. In the spring of 2022, representatives came together from 16 organizations within the Central Region to form a pool of respondents that would begin the work of this organizational health and well-being strategy. The goal was to assess current practices, policies, and programs that sponsor the commitment of the healthcare organizations and their prioritization of employee well-being. The responses were reviewed and they indicated varying levels of psychological health, safety, and wellness management systems. So from that, they created a tool that would become a universal tool for all of these 16 organizations to start to use as a foundational piece in their practice for employee well-being. So the results from the intake assessment really demonstrated robust systems that support psychological health, safety, and wellness. However, they were not universal across all organizations. So it's important to note that you will see within this tool that the work of the organizational health and well-being strategy really continues to indicate that universal tool, the need for it to ensure that care is communicated as a tiered approach across a preventative and promotional plan, not just reactional. So this is going to assist in that effective promotion and use of resources so our frontline workers feel supported, healthy, and resilient. The supports that are within this step care model training today were the responses from the collective 16 organizations. The step care model tool that will be available within your organization will be unique and speak to your own internal supports and programming. But this step care model was measurement based. Again, the data was collected from the Central Region organizations, and it really was used to help build, create, and drive the step care model interventions. You will see a breakdown of each specific tier within the step care model. So one being the first step, which is the well-being wheel. It is referenced at the end of this presentation. But what I'm going to do today is to walk you through and help you as a leader or as an individual start to understand what the employee or program culture needs are. The step care model is designed to help determine an individual's current level of well-being, to help assist them in establishing specific resource supports, while also having that action plan support and the commitment to monitoring progress and evaluating the efficacy of the interventions and supports. So over time, as each organization strives towards that desired state of employee well-being, we're going to be better able to predict and create resources to align with that appropriate level of need and truly begin to bring mental health, like a lens of mental health, the language to all levels of policy, procedure, and decision making within our organizations. So it's really exciting that this tool is rolling out and has a specific purpose to help guide us to that desired state. So getting into the step care model, Again, it was established to support the assessment of an individual's current state of well-being and help them determine the next steps to either improve or sustain that level of well-being, especially in times not only of elevated levels of stress or distress, but even in times of resilience. So again, that speaks to that promotion and prevention piece, not just reactive for programs, supports, and services. You will notice throughout that there is a color scheme on the step care model ranging from light green to dark blue. And this again is to encourage this continual promotion and understanding and identification of level of care dependent on the state of well-being. So this training is going to serve as a tool to help you better understand what the step care model is, but also to increase awareness of the variety of resources and supports available not only within your organization, but again, based on identified level of need. And again, highlighting that opportunity for leadership support and what's required. So when you're using this tool, if a team member is sharing challenging news or distressing emotions or thoughts, I really encourage you to be mindful to start to employ that skill of active listening and empathy. And this is going to help them practice and hone in on that emotional regulation and be able to demonstrate the ability and levels of how the impact of compassion when completing this check-in and action plan when also, designating a follow-up conversation. So all of the skills learned in your leadership training and development specific to mental health in the workplace, all of those skills will really come into play when you are supporting an individual or an employee in need with this tool. It is also meant to serve as a vehicle to increase awareness of the importance of actively engaging in activities or strategies that promote and nurture our well-being. That ultimately, by actively engaging in these, it's going to help increase those skills of resilience and that sense of work-life balance. So our goal is that we will be conducting these trainings throughout the summer in a virtual platform. You will have access to this recording on an ongoing basis. And then in September of 2023, the training will then shift focus to turn more internal within organizations towards employees at all levels in orientation practices, as well in wellness or psychological health and safety or occupational health communications. The tool itself will be available in a printable poster copy that you can post in your service area, but also there is available a printable leader and user guide. So beyond this recording, a recording is also, this will be available on YouTube, as I mentioned. And also in addition, and we're really excited about this component, is a digital tool. So there will be a link for immediate online access to supports, to tools, to contact information, to guide you through a user-friendly version of the step care model in a digital platform. So we want you to know that the access to support and understanding of this step care model tool will absolutely extend beyond this recording in whatever capacity you feel you would benefit from most. So as you can see on your screen on the right-hand side, this is a visual of what the step care model tool will look like. I understand and can appreciate that some of these slides appear blurry or perhaps busy, but it is really just to give you an idea of what it looks like, and I will be breaking it down per section. So the step care model itself is a 3-tiered implementation strategy. The training on proper usage of this will demonstrate this measured approach. Each tier of the tool really serves a unique purpose, and although mutually exclusive, it shares this interconnectedness to working through each area of the wellness wheel with the goal of being able to improve coping skills and strategies and focusing on reaching your desired state for well-being by connecting the individual to high-quality supports and services. One thing I will stress is when you are supporting someone or in these trainings, we will be encouraging the trying to resist that temptation to rush through the process, taking pause and digging a little deeper to ask the right questions so that you can identify how you are truly feeling to complete that first section of the well-being wheel, because that is what is going to guide you to the most accurate program, support, or resource. The directions for the step care model are also displayed at the top in the right-hand corner. So whether this tool is used as a self-guided measure or with leader support, the order and direction of each step is absolutely detailed and user-friendly. This tool is going to be used to educate and communicate also the importance of understanding how our emotions drive behaviors, but also the benefits of increasing that awareness to accessing supports and services to nurture overall well-being. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into the step care model. If you have printed it, this will be the top section. So the first tier. The first tier speaks to the well-being wheel. This is used for self-exploration, and it is promoting the concept that our emotions and feelings drive our behaviors and needs. So this should sound familiar with any rounding you're doing or huddles, or if you have a workplace well-being strategy. But using emotional and physical symptom prompts, it's giving people the opportunity as they move through this step care model to really hone in on their most accurate current state of wellness by identifying areas in their life that they may have or may be neglecting or seek to improve. Original training for the step care model focused earlier this year on a quick win of the Frontline wellness program. And that was because the majority of the current state in healthcare was falling in under this bottom left quadrant of I feel elevated levels of stress or I am struggling. So we wanted to be able to have a quick win program. Now we are branching out into the overall tool itself. So if the current culture in your workplace or work area is indicating elevated levels of stress, burnout, overwhelm, and fatigue, we will have a slide later in this recording, again, reminding of how to access Frontline Wellness and its purpose. But the first step of the step care model is this well-being wheel. Again, it is asking you to take pause, considering those emotional and physical symptoms or prompts, and then noting within that color quadrant the labeled step numbers associated with your check-in. So the first step of checking in, which we are all well versed in, will be noted and used to guide you to that next tier. So you'll see in the bottom right quadrant, I feel stressed and resilient, but I'm doing okay. Those are falling into steps 1 through 3. If you're feeling elevated levels of stress, you will take note of steps 4 to 6. And if it is extreme or higher levels of distress and I can't function, you will notice that it indicates step 7 to step 9. So noting those steps will be important for the next tier. But before we get into the middle tier of that self-inquiry, I am going to show you a closer version of what each of those quadrants look like in terms of what those emotional and physical cues are prompting that check-in. So this first slide is showing you the pillar of sustainable health. When your check-in is coming in as feeling healthy and resilient, or even just a little bit stressed, but still resilient, still feeling okay. So you will see that it indicates feelings and thinkings of calm or relaxed or flexible, still optimistic. Perhaps you're branching into a little bit of nervousness. There might be some difficulty thinking, shifting your thinking, or some decision-making skills might be impacted, but overall feeling resilient. So that is just giving you a better cue. You will also see in the bottom of this where it says go to page 9. This is because these slides and graphics have been pulled from that user guide. So once you have access to that user guide, it'll just be a very streamlined approach. The next slide is showing you the steps related to supportive health. If you were indicating elevated levels of stress, what those feelings and thinking prompts might look like, how that might relay over to your physical reaction or energy to that check-in. And again, on the right-hand side, steps 7 through 9, when it relates to critical health. So these are really important that, again, you don't rush through that first section of the well-being wheel. You really do stop and take pause to best accurately find that range of steps. Because as you move into the middle section of the step care model tool, which is this individual inquiry, you are going to take the steps that were indicated from your check-in and refer to them in this middle section. So we've completed the initial check-in using the well-being wheel, and now we are at the second tier for individual inquiry, that's self-assessment. Using those steps that were identified in the well-being wheel, you are going to locate them on here on this self-assessment. Once you've located them, you are then encouraged to read the statements to the right of each of the steps, with the goal, again, of refining and determining the most accurate statement or level of need possible. We are also encouraging people to consider reading the statement above and below those indicated levels of steps, again, just to increase accuracy and be able to identify that step as you move into the final stage of the step care model tool. So once you have read the statements associated to your well-being wheel check-in, the one statement that best describes you, use that step number located to the left of that statement. And this is how you will determine, one, your pillar of health need in the final tier of the step care model here, but two, what the list of readily available and accessible supports, programs, or interventions to help nurture your well-being will be. So steps have been identified. You will then flow down to the bottom section of the step care model, which is a highlight of the support tools. In the next slide, I will have a closer visual so you can see specifically what specific programs are falling in under the steps. But this is probably the best part of the step care model tool. This third tier in this section refines that connection and communication of support service offerings to one location for all of your employees. So this demonstrates, one, how robust your psychological health, safety, and wellness system is to support all levels of well-being across this prevention and promotion continuum. The goal is to sustain, to support, or react in varying levels of well-being need. So the first section on the left of the sustainable health, so that pillar, is focusing in the light green of primarily those who are experiencing stress but are feeling okay. And it's going to offer programs and activities that help improve resilience. So these include drop-in type activities, those informational self-help resources, interactional self-help sessions or courses. This section will be a direct link, primarily likely to your occupational health and safety department, or if you have a wellness coordinator within your organization. But this will really streamline and centralize that access to that type of programming, or perhaps you have an on-unit wellness program or support that will also be indicated under the sustainable health. The second section, moving into that shade of blue, is supportive health. This is the middle section. It's focusing on individuals who are experiencing acute distress and offers specific targeted debriefing or planning supports. So this is including services within your organization that connect individuals with a peer, perhaps with similar experiences, or as a colleague support mentorship program. The supports could be after a specific event. Also, they connect you with an expert on an as-needed basis. So some of these available will be in-house with committee structures or mentorship programs again, but also outside services that an individual can either self-refer or they can request the support of their leader in assisting for a potential referral process. So this section of the supportive health steps 4 through 6 is primarily where frontline wellness programming is most prominent. You will also see within these support systems programs that have an asterisk to the right of them. Those are indicating free Ontario government health supports that are universally available to everyone. So also important to note that although there will be systems and programs from internal structures within your organization, there will always be an opportunity for accessing another free outside Ontario funded program. So the far right section related to critical health, this is the dark blue. This is focusing on individuals who are displaying or experiencing severe distress and offers more intensive service options. The majority of services offered on this end are not facilitated directly through an organization, and primarily they are on a referral basis, but they can support these services also through your employee assistant program or benefits package or access that is offered to employees. Again, with reference to the programs indicated with the asterisks that are Ontario government funded. And with that, again, just knowing that there will always be a support opportunity offered under each pillar. Your organization can use these steps also to drive future state programming and services, to be able to identify gaps and opportunities to start to bring in maybe new committee structures or new programs so that each pillar of health is well-versed and well covered at an organizational level, keeping again mental health and well-being and resilience on the agenda and the primary focus at your organization. So moving just to a closer look at supports, I have increased the visual for the sustainable health pillar. This slide is to give you a closer look at what some of the examples of programs or supports might look like under this step. At this level of the tool, you're going to see, again, the list of programs, activities, and resources. Again, I'm going to note that each step care model poster or resource will be specifically curated by each organization and have programs and resources that are specific to their psychological health, safety, and wellness support system. So that's important to note. The next, again, just a reminder, the asterisk identifies a free government resource. It also indicates who the step is intended for. So you will see on this under step 1, it is intended for the whole organization. And then when you branch over into step 2 and 3, it's being able to identify the person or individuals that might benefit from more informational opportunities, more interactional opportunities with specific goals of either reducing stress, increasing resilience. There is also a description related to when a resource has universal access. This needed to be reflected because we wanted to be able to also indicate the access, as majority of our employee assistance programs are intended for all levels of employment status, sometimes even students, volunteers. So it's making it universally available. Your staff will know what is available regardless of level of employment. Our step care model will indicate the contact number also for our EAP program. We think that will be a huge benefit to be able to have access in the moment to that information for our employees. There's a description of basic access and comprehensive access. So this again will be specific to each organization depending on your packages. This again may also change depending on unit. So really being mindful that organizations will have very specific programming. And as that programming changes, as leaders, you may be tasked to print and post new copies of this step care model as your organization strives to work towards that desired state and even introduces and offers new programs or new levels. So with that piece of information, again, the reminder that within the Step Care Model digital tool, there will be a manager's portal with a quick list of resources based on each pillar of health. It is there to be used as a printable sheet that you can either, again, post beside your Step Care Model in your service area, or have as a quick go-to reference when you have those one-to-one meetings or interventions, or especially that you have it handy as you move into this final and really important step of the action tool. So this is a complementary and additional support strategy related to the Step Care Model. Employees are encouraged and empowered to take care of their own mental health. So by using this action item document, this will be a piece that really encourages individuals to take ownership and control over supporting their well-being. And by following these prompts that are within the action tool, it's really going to help them increase understanding and awareness of what their level of need is, help them find comfort in an action plan. But this action tool, at this point, the level of leadership support is instrumental in this Step Care Model process. After having difficult conversations, follow through is especially important because you want that individual or that employee to have not only access to support tools and systems, but also to know that their leader has their back and is supporting them as well, or that the organization is really putting at the forefront their well-being and their resilience. So once your team member has made their way through the Step Care Model, if they require assistance to make an introduction or assistance to make a referral based on those identified support programs or tools, this is going to encourage them to connect with you, to walk through, again, those following prompts to create that personal action plan. This action plan is setting out clear actions and responsibilities, not only of that individual, but also of the leader. So again, keeping at the forefront the recognition of how essential mental health is for overall well-being, but also how essential supervisor citizenship is. So this action tool will also have you set a talking point for your next one-to-one to make sure that there is follow through and follow up to support that identified level of need so that you can help that employee or that individual reach that desired outcome. The action plan, again, is going to guide you to set action items together. So it's going to be easier to track the efforts that both you and your staff are making. And the goal ultimately is that participants will feel supported and in charge of their well-being action pathway. So beyond following up on the action plan quadrants, I highly encourage you to use the skills again or developed natural leadership styles that you have in terms of rounding or checking in with your employees, making a point to check in on a more personal level as well. And knowing that talking about sensitive or concerning subjects can be upsetting or awkward. So it's really great and a positive outlook to reconvene for that additional connection with your employee. This again, so this is the visual of the quick resource tool that again will be available as a link within the digital tool of the Step Care Model, but also in shared resources that will be available for you to print. So just a variety of different quick in the moment access to supports based on level of need, based on purpose level of need, but just knowing that you are supported and can feel confident in having some action items available when and if needed. Rounding back to that supportive health pillar, that quick win of the Frontline Wellness Program, because this again was the initial start of the organizational health and well-being project. This is highlighting Frontline Wellness, that free low barrier support program. So if you as a leader or as an individual are demonstrating elevated levels of stress and need, please do not hesitate to access this support. You can see the link, visit the www.onedoor.ca. As a leader, you can do this to have that intake assessment with the clinician to be able to help identify the culture of your service area and have that system navigation for what supports and services you can bring back to your team. It is there to support you as a leader in terms of your well-being, but also, again, just a quick win, great resource that an individual will feel supported in their well-being, in their skill development, and ultimately levels of resilience. This is the part of the presentation where I invite you to pause at each slide. You will see there are 3 case studies. This is just going to be used to test your skills or understanding of the step care model tool. So again, if you can print off the step care model so you have it readily available, I invite you to do so. This might also be a great portion where you can use that user's guide, as the action plan tool is within that as well. But just taking pause and reading over each of these case studies, testing your knowledge, and increasing your understanding of the tool itself. So this is case study 1. Please feel free to unpause when you are ready to move on to case study 2. Again, please feel free to unpause when you are ready to proceed to case study 3. All right, excellent job. So if you've reached this point of the presentation, you have just been able to hone in and practice new skills learned based on the step care model. If you are within a group, I invite you to share your responses or your experience or understanding as a collective, just to be able to increase that reliability and validity of the tool and understanding of how to proceed and navigate through it. So although this recording is available at any point for you in your learning journey, we do have set virtual opportunities to drop in and participate with leaders from a variety of different organizations. So here are possible dates that you can register for. There is an email indicated below if you'd like to register for a specific section. But we invite you really to attend as many as you want, just so that you are at a point where you feel confident and comfortable in utilizing this tool when it rolls out this fall. So thank you for participating in this presentation, in this training, accessing this recording. If you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to either your representative for the partnership integration team for this organizational health and wellbeing strategy project, or there are contact informations for Waypoint Center for Mental Health Care. Specifically, you can email the wellness@waypointcenter.ca with any questions. We are readily available and hoping to help continue to support you in being able to roll out successfully the step care model. It is going to be such a great opportunity for employees at all levels, and we really look forward to continuing this work with you.